Hi everyone. We are group 2 and we did our project on Polaris Industries. So just a quick overview, we are going to talk about the introduction, the vision, mission, and history of the company, then the industry analysis, the internal analysis, the business level strategies, the corporate level strategies, and then any recommendations we found.
Polaris is an American manufacturer of motorcycles, snowmobiles, ATVs, and neighborhood electric vehicles. The company was founded in 1954. They operate in the motorsports automotive defense industry. Their headquarters are in Medina, Minnesota. Their current CEO is Scott Wine, and Polaris has served over 100 different countries with over 11,000 employees internationally. The products that Polaris offers include snowmobiles, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, moto roadsters, commercial vehicles, ultralight tactical vehicles, and parts, garments, and other accessories. Polaris's vision is to fuel the passions of riders, workers, and outdoors enthusiasts around the world by delivering innovative, high-quality vehicles, products, services, and experiences that enrich their lives. The company is built around the guiding principles of having the best people and the best team, always prioritizing safety and ethics first, and working hard to achieve Polaris brand loyal customers. Polaris was founded in 1954, and in 1955 they manufactured their first snowmobile ever. In 1980, W. Hall Wendell Jr. was named president of the company. By 1995, Polaris had reached annual sales of $1 billion for the first time. In 1997, the company decided to expand its off-road business with the release of their Ranger side-by-side vehicle. In 2008, Scott W. Wine took over as chairman and CEO of Polaris. By 2011, Polaris reached annual sales of $2 billion for the first time, and they acquired the very well-known brand Indian Motorcycles. In 2014, the company opened their first manufacturing facility outside of North America. This facility is located in Opel, Poland. In 2016, Polaris acquired Trans-American Auto Parts, which is the leading manufacturer, distributor, and retailer of off-road Jeep and truck aftermarket accessories. By 2017, the company reached annual sales of $5 billion for the first time, and in 2018, they acquired the privately held boat manufacturing company, Boat Holdings. Also in 2018, Polaris was named to the Fortune 500 list for the first time in company history.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Flaherty, and I will be discussing the industry analysis. Within the industry, we looked at market size, market growth rate, geographic scope, industry life cycle, number of companies, vertical integration, technological change, consumer needs, product differentiation, and economies of scale. For market size, we found that the market growth in 2016 was estimated at about $7.65 billion and expected to continue to grow more. If you focus on the growth rate of just the US, you would find that it was more because of the change of regulation, which allowed more off-road vehicles on public roadways. Same with other areas like the Asian Pacific, although there are other areas that are in a decrease in demand, and with slow economic growth, it is a less popular market. So because of the areas with small demand, the life cycle of the industry as a whole is in the mature stage, which the large demand decrease is affecting the industry cycle as a whole. And there are about 1,165 companies within the industry, but there are only 4 companies that make up 46.7% of the industry revenue. To talk about the vertical integration, we found that Polaris started as a snowmobile manufacturer, but today they are a high competitor in the off-road vehicle market. They are consistently technologically advancing. For example, they were the first to introduce into the industry cooled and heated seats to their vehicles. And for consumer needs, we found that they have been changing a lot. A lot more older generations are purchasing motorcycles than younger. Because of this, they need to find ways to introduce motorcycles to younger demographics to help with future sales growth. In order to help with meeting consumer needs with the younger generations, product differentiation will help bring competitive advantage to the company within the market. We found that the top competing companies had a lot of product differentiation. And then lastly, we found that the economies of scale in the industry have been declining due to the pandemic. Branches of many companies have been closing down, and they've been utilizing their machines for other products. Some of the trends we found most important within the industry were aging population, regulation shift, technology, and machinery. As I mentioned in the previous slide, most of the consumers within the industry are a part of the older generations, such as baby boomers. With a little younger generation presence, the industry can expect a drop in sales in the future. We think that the regulation shift of allowing off-road vehicles on the public roadways will attract the younger generations and increase sales. Technology will also be a factor in attracting younger generations because consumers want the most out of their vehicles with the coolest features. Many companies have been racing to stay on top of the technological advances. Lastly, machinery was seen as an important trend because of the pandemic and trying to adapt to these economic changes by maximizing profits and decreasing costs of production.
Hi, my name is Kira Woodvine, and I will be going over the SWOT analysis within Polaris. First, I'll go over some strengths that we have seen within the company. We have seen that they have a successful track record of developing new products, a strong distribution network, strong free cash flows, good returns on capital expenditures, strong dealer community, and also a high level of customer satisfaction. Within this, we see that Polaris has a product innovation. Over the years, Polaris Industries has built a reliable distribution network that can reach majority of its potential market. They also provide resources in the hand of the company to expand into new projects. They have also built a culture among its distributors and dealers where the dealers not only promote the company's products, but they also invest in training the sales team to explain to the customer how he or she can extract the maximum benefit from their products. The company, with its dedicated customer relationship management department, has been able to achieve a high level of customer satisfaction among its present customers and has a good brand quality among its potential customers. Next, I will be talking about the weaknesses. Some weaknesses that we see within Polaris are that their financial planning is not done properly or efficiently. They need more investments in new technologies, and they also need investment in research and development, which is below the fastest growing players within their industry. They're also not very good at product demand forecasting, leading to a higher rate of missed opportunities compared to its competitors. There are also gaps in the product range sold by the company. Their days inventory is high compared to their other competitors. The current asset ratio and liquid asset ratio suggests that the company can use the cash more efficiently than what it's doing at present. Given the scale of expansion in different geographies the company is planning to expand into, Polaris Industries needs to put more money into technology to integrate the processes across the board. Right now, the investment in technologies is not at par with the vision of the company. This lack of choice can give a new competitor the fourth hold in the market, making the company raise more capital to invest in the channel, which can impact their long-term growth in Polaris Industries. There are also some opportunities within Polaris, some of them being that there have new environmental policies being put in place. The new technology provides an opportunity to Polaris Industries for practices differentiating prices strategies in the new market. Their stable free cash flow provides opportunity to invest in adjacent product segments, also opening up of new markets because of government agreements. With more cash in the bank, the company can invest into new technologies as well as new product segments. This should be an open window for opportunity for Polaris and other product categories. The adoption of new technology standard and government free trade agreements has provided Polaris Industries an opportunity to enter into new emerging markets. It will enable the firm to maintain its loyal customers with great service and lure new customers through their other value-oriented propositions. Lastly, I will talk about some threats within Polaris. One being that their customers are changing their buying behavior from their online channel, their rising of raw material, their liability laws in different countries, and new technologies which are developed by their competitors and the market. This could be a threat to the existing physical infrastructure driven by their supply chain model, and it could pose a threat to their overall profitability. Overall, this could also be a serious threat to the industry in the medium to long-term future.
Hi, I'm Caleb Elbro, and I'm going to be discussing the business level strategies for Polaris Industries. Polaris Industries clearly uses the differentiation strategy, which is trying to separate themselves from their competitors using innovation and getting an all-around better end product. To analyze this, we use the Porter's 5 Forces model, which takes a closer look at the company's rivals, substitutes, new entrants to the market, and their suppliers and buyers. Polaris Industries is continuously innovating, which is a massive competitive advantage for them. Upon the release of their 2021 lineup of off-road vehicles, they emphasize the use of rider-inspired ideas to improve functionality and comfort. When it comes to rivals, the list is very long, but the main two would be Yamaha and Honda. Yamaha is a global business with sales in more than 180 countries. They're very innovative with a large and diverse portfolio of products, along with a strong company image. Honda has a very diverse portfolio as well. This includes cars, jets, and motorcycles. They also have robots, which is unlike any other companies that they would compete with. This puts them in a high rivalry situation because it's going to be hard to compete with this. With the many different rivals that Polaris has, and with each of them bringing something new to the table and the industry, it makes it very hard for players to keep up with each and every one of them. Now, with substitutes, the threat of the substitutes always has to be on the back of the mind. But when it comes to the competitive market that Polaris has created, and the brand loyalty they have, and their continuous innovation year after year, the substitutes are not a huge threat to their current business. When it comes to suppliers, they do play a fairly large role on Polaris Industries. They have a high negotiating power, which can affect the company's profits at the end of the year, because the purchasing price of raw materials is high. When it comes to the buyers, although they are fairly large in numbers and they play a very large role on the influence of the product innovations, it is very important to keep meeting the needs of the buyers, because without them, you lose all your brand loyalty and ultimately a lot of money in the end. When it comes to the new entrants, there's really not a lot to be said about new entrants coming into the market. There's very well-known companies that already hold the majority of the market share, and they continue to push each other for innovation. In order for a company to gain any ground in the industry, they would have to have enough capital to operate on a loss for a lot of years in the beginning, and it's difficult to get that kind of capital, although entrance into the market is very unrealistic.
Hi everyone, I'm Chelsea Wright, and I'm going to be discussing my group's findings from the analysis of corporate level strategies. Polaris has come a long way since it was founded, and it has since gotten involved into many new business areas. The company is currently involved with the sale of motorcycles, off-road vehicles, snow vehicles, government and defense vehicles, boats, and they are involved in the parts, accessories, and apparel industry. The company records the strongest financial performance from the sale of motorcycles, off-road vehicles, and snow vehicles. Polaris has clearly diversified over the years, but something that's important to note is that all of these business units are very closely related. We thought this was extremely beneficial for the company because it allows them to promote a strong single version of themselves to consumers, this being one centered around adventure.
Here I've listed the most important recent corporate changes that Polaris has experienced. First, in 2011, Polaris acquired the Indian Motorcycle brand. Indian Motorcycle is a long-standing brand that has a strong reputation and very loyal customers. The acquisition boosted Polaris' sales so much that the company then, in 2017, decided to discontinue the operations of its own motorcycle brand, Victory. However, the company has continued to manufacture replacement parts for existing customers with old models. In 2014, Polaris went through an internal reorganization to integrate many of its existing business units. The businesses were combined to form an overall business that they're calling Global Adjacent Markets. It primarily includes the operations of small vehicles, government vehicles, off-road vehicles, snow vehicles, and motorcycles. So basically just excluding defense vehicles and boats since that investment had not been acquired yet. The shift affected nothing with regard to Polaris's core operations and the products that they produced, but it allowed the company to integrate strategies and resources, creating greater efficiency and a stronger organizational vision. In 2018, Polaris acquired Boat Holdings LLC, a leader in the manufacturing and sale of pontoon boats. This venture stepped slightly outside of the company's comfort zone, but as you can see, there's still a close tie to the overall theme of power sports. The acquisition was beneficial for the company because it instantly gave the company a strong market share while expanding to open a new product line for customers.
Recently, Polaris has been extremely active in expansion and diversification, usually achieving this through the acquisition of a company that already has a strong standing and market share in whatever market they're looking to get into. That being said, as a team, we decided that we would not recommend Polaris to get into any new business areas right now. Instead, we would recommend that Polaris wait a few years before venturing out and currently focus on the relatively new acquisition of Boat Holdings so they can turn that into something new, something of their own. The thought process behind this was basically that Polaris has been expanding so much recently, not only with new acquisitions but also with furthering their current and existing business units, that the addition into a new market right now could overwhelm either management or operations and cause an overall downturn in financial performance for the company as a whole. We would also recommend that Polaris not divest any of its current business units because, as previously stated, we believe that the close relationship between these business units creates a strong advantage for Polaris, and on the other hand, there are no business units that are currently experiencing any clear, poor financial performance.